Welcome to the WLPGA's LPG Talks interview series. Each interview will feature LPG industry leaders and explore current opportunities, trends and developments in the LPG industry. We hope you will enjoy these informative discussions.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are. You are watching LPG Talks. I'm Michael Kelly with the World LPG Association. Today, I'm joined by Rebecca Boudreaux from Oberon Fuels. Rebecca, how are you?
I'm wonderful. It's great to see you today, Michael.
Rebecca, we are going to dive right in because this
Let's do
is such an interesting topic for our industry. Why don't we start with you telling us a little bit about Oberon Fuels, its objective, its mission, and for the audience that isn't familiar with what DME is, why don't you give us a little background on that molecule and tell us why it's important for the LPG industry?
Yes, well, thank you so much, Michael, for having me here and the opportunity to speak with you and share with the larger LPG industry about what we are doing. So some history on Oberon. So we started almost 12 years ago in San Diego, California, in the US, with the mission to be able to provide innovative solutions to countries and industries and to help them reduce our carbon footprint. So that is the core of what we do, providing innovative solutions. And the innovative solution that we have focused on primarily is converting various waste streams to DME, or dimethyl ether. And so over this 12-year journey, we have built a production facility in Southern California, created the market for DME in partnership with others, and also created the regulatory framework to enable this molecule to be sold around the world. And as far as what is DME, so it stands for dimethyl ether. So DME is a little easier, and it's a molecule, carbon, oxygen, carbon, some hydrogens on the outside that looks very similar to propane. But that oxygen in the middle also gives it some unique properties. So similarities and unique. So sometimes we like to refer to them as cousins, same bloodline in some ways, but a different molecule. And so we'll dive in a little more as we chat about how it can be used, but that is what DME is. It can also be made from a variety of waste streams. So think animal waste, food waste, landfill gas, wood, all of these sources of feedstock can be used to make this molecule.
Wow. And so, and if I understand correctly, DME has existed for a while. It's been around for some time now. And DME blending has also existed for decades. So what is happening now? Why is DME having such a moment right now?
Yes, I think there are a lot of things that have led up to now finally being the moment for renewable DME. One is on governmental regulations. So as the world looks for more solutions to reach carbon neutrality, to reduce the carbon footprint and limit the effects of climate change, new solutions are being looked for. And so renewable DME is one of those solutions that can help not just the LPG industry decarbonize, but also the hydrogen sector and other forms of energy. So governmental regulations are pushing everyone to look for innovative solutions to help them reduce our carbon footprint. Another is really the foundational work that's been done for over 2 decades by many people, even before Oberon started, on the technical work that's being done. And a lot of this was done with fossil DME. But now that there's renewable DME and more production has been announced, we have our plant in Southern California. We're looking to announce our next production facility in the next 3 to 6 months. Dimeta has formed, SHV, UGI, suburban propane. A lot of folks are getting into it. And having access to renewable molecules is very important because it provides the LPG industry a chance to present a solution to the world that many hadn't thought about.
Yeah, you're right. You said fossil DME is produced from what feedstocks exactly? Where does that come? Because you mentioned renewable and fossil, and I want to make sure that our audience understands the difference between the two.
Right. So fossil DME, and so DME, just to go back, has been produced for decades. And it's largely from natural gas that is being produced. Also, coal is a feedstock for DME. So these have been the sources of production, the feedstocks in the past. So DME has been used, the molecule itself is the same, no matter the feedstock, It's just the carbon atoms. The only way you would actually know if it's renewable or not is by carbon dating. But over the past decades, DME has been used not just for LPG blending, but also as an aerosol propellant because it's non-toxic, it's environmentally friendly, and it has been safely used in that way for multiple decades. So personal care products such as sunscreen, hairspray, and products like that actually have DME in it today. So that's historically how it's been used. So it's really building upon that foundation to expand the use of DME and now using renewable molecules from other sources that have a smaller footprint from the carbon side.
And our industry is in the process of developing lots of streams of renewable LPG. And how is renewable DME different from renewable LPG?
Yes, and it's exciting to see the global LPG industry make these steps as they go, providing solutions to the world to reduce the industry's carbon footprint, but help the world have other lower carbon footprint energy sources. So renewable LPG is being introduced. You're starting to be able to see it in more places. And so DME is another powerful tool that the LPG industry has to help reduce its carbon footprint. And really it's in a different way. So renewable LPG, you can blend it in and the molecules aren't distinguishable unless you carbon date them. DME is a slightly different molecule, but it comes from different feedstocks. So renewable LPG is made from feedstocks that are used to make renewable diesel, and it's a byproduct of the production process. So you get a small stream of it on these renewable diesel production facilities. So there's access to it. Where DME differs is it's used different feedstocks, the ones I mentioned before, animal waste, landfill gas, food waste, these types, agricultural waste, different set of feedstocks, and it's dedicated production. When you make DME, you're only making DME. So really, I see these two molecules as very complementary. You even use them together. And there's two ways that you can get at reducing the carbon footprint in the industry. And with the DME, you blend up to about 20% is what you would blend to without any changes to materials, and you don't have to worry about changing the seals. Beyond that, then you do need to change seals. With renewable LPG, you don't have to do that. So it's two very different feedstocks, different production approaches, but complementary molecules. The other thing about renewable DME is it can also achieve much lower carbon intensity because of the feedstocks that it can be made from. So for example, the California Air Resources Board determined that if you take dairy manure, so dairy cows, their manure, produce a biogas converted to DME by the Oberon process, the carbon intensity would be minus 278. So very carbon negative. So while you can only blend up to 20%, you can still get to very low carbon intensities blending with fossil propane, traditional propane, or you can also combine renewable propane and renewable DME to get even lower carbon intensities and actually approach carbon neutrality.
Wow, that's really interesting and important for the industry. And you cited this figure of 20% a number of times in your discussion. Is that the figure we've arrived at, and that's accepted scientifically and by the industry as the percentage that we can blend DME with LPG without having to change, as you mentioned, the seals or any of the other equipment? Is that correct?
Yeah, so historically, 20% has generally been the limit for DME blending without material compatibility. You also hear figures 20 to 30%. So one of the things that, and I know the World LP Gas Association is working on this, is that, really what is that upper limit? And deciding as an industry, is it more than 20%? Do we want to stay at 20% to give the right buffer? And that's important. Also, in the case of engine applications, you have to update the software if you go up to 20%. So you need to consider the octane level in the blend. So the 20% figure is, 20 to 30% is what's set on the material compatibility. So on the safe side, people typically use 20%. When you go to engine applications, you also have to consider octane level. And that actually, in those applications, is a limiting factor before material compatibility is a limiting factor.
Okay, interesting. So there's still some work I think industry has to do on this.
Yeah.
One final question, Rebecca, before we wrap up. What do you see as the future of the LPG industry? And of course, what value do you see in working with the World LPG Association? Oberon has just become industry council member of the World LPG Association.
Yes, we're very excited to be part of the council. So the future of the LPG industry is a very exciting time. As I mentioned before, the world is looking for ways to reduce its carbon footprint. And the LPG industry has the opportunity to present innovative solutions to help the world have more clean energy sources. And so the introduction of renewable LPG is happening. Renewable DME is happening now. Suburban Propane and Oberon are selling blended product in Southern California today, and others have announced upcoming production. So it's happening now. And the LPG industry is not an industry that doesn't just have to move propane molecules in LPG. The industry knows how to safely transport, store, and dispense molecules. And so the industry has an opportunity to additionally transport renewable DME. And renewable DME is an excellent source of renewable hydrogen. So you can make the renewable DME, transport it using the existing global LPG infrastructure, and then pull off the hydrogen at the point of use. And so the LPG industry has an opportunity to provide solutions as we continue to move to zero emissions. The LPG industry still has a very important role to play in providing lower carbon innovative solutions. And then we are very excited to be part of the World LPG Association. And it's important to us because innovation isn't limited by borders. It's a global goal for all of us is to create new approaches. And so we felt it was very important to be part of this global association. And also we're further committed to being part of the industry council to help new solutions come to market, to continue to push things forward and help the world see the exciting solutions that are available. And so that's why we're also excited to bring a delegation from Oberon. 4 members of our team will be traveling to New Delhi for LPG Week, and we're excited to be there and looking forward to seeing you and many other members of the association.
Wow, well, you heard it here. Be part of the global effort to decarbonize the world and to bring innovation into the LPG industry. Rebecca, thank you for joining us, and thank you for bringing up New Delhi, which will be held in November of this week, LPG 2022. We hope you'll be able to join us and we'll be able to meet Rebecca and the team from Oberon. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us.
Thank you, Michael, for having me.
I'm Michael Kelly. You've been watching LPG Talks. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.